Welcome, everybody. This is the No Politics Podcast, the most must-listen wrestling slash sports slash music slash whatever the fuck we want, but mostly wrestling podcast in the whole motherfucking podcast world. I am one half of the team, your host, Faking No Moves, here as always with
Working Genius.
my co-host. Damn, I should have said my co-host. Working Genius, whatever, it's all good. But let's continue. I think it was good. What do you think?
What?
So, what do you think? Did I fuck up on the intro?
I think it was good. What did you think? I was like, did he just skip what we were talking about, or is he still talking about, or is he asking me my opinion on his intro?
Yeah. What do you think? Is I kind of did that
decent.
without reading it, and I felt like I memorized it all, but that part at the end, you know what I mean? So I was fucked up in my own head about it.
You actually messed up on the very beginning, where you skipped on the most real to most dope. You just jumped to the most must listen. But I liked it. I liked it. It wasn't as good as Extreme Rules, but I liked it.
Alright. So, are we going to keep it?
I mean, I'm moving along like we are going to keep it. That's how I'm feeling right now.
No problem.
You know, started off with a little joke.
Extreme Rules was a pretty fucking solid podcast. I mean, fucking...
Oh, man, you are all fucked up today.
Listen, it's the P's. I got fucked up with the P's.
It's also 11:43 p.m. Late night. We're coming at you right off of Extreme Rules, right off of Game 2 of the NBA Finals. There's been a lot going on. Today's date is June 4th. It is Sunday, June 4th. By the time you get this in your ears, it's going to be Monday, June 5th, hopefully. So bear with us as it is late. It's been a long day. There was a lot of stuff going on tonight. Big night in sports and wrestling. So we got a lot to talk about. Exactly.
What do you want to talk about first anyway? We were about to talk about Extreme Rules, but like you mentioned, we have the NBA Finals, Game 2, Warriors versus the Cavs. I mean, we could start with that.
I'm ready. I'm ready when you are.
Man.
So, KD.
The Warriors are up. They did take Game 1, which, you know, why wouldn't they take Game 1? They're home. They got a nice rest, a little longer rest than the Cavs did. But, dominant win. Won by, 22, 23 points?
Tonight or Game 1?
Game 1.
Both.
And that, exactly, now I could say, Game 2 was completely the same.
It was closer in the first half, but...
Yeah.
I mean, Game 1 was pretty close in the first half.
Yeah, like, it was like the Cavs were always there within 8 to 10 points.
Exactly.
But Game 1, I feel like in the first half, right at the end of the second half, Curry started to heat up. And then it was like, once Curry was hot, it was open shots for everyone and just great team chemistry and ball movement. The way they executed and just plain flat out scored. Game 2, going into the third quarter, was still competitive.
Yeah.
And it was like towards the end of that quarter is then when
the
Warriors took over.
Exactly. Yeah, the scoring from the Warriors has been just ridiculous. They were hitting some shots tonight. Durant, we just got to talk about Durant. Like, I don't want to talk about anything else before I talk about Durant. And KD, who was my pick for Finals MVP, if the Warriors were to win and the Warriors were my pick, KD had to be the X factor. He had to be the one. And he has shown out these first two games. He was a murderer in Game 1. Dropped 38. Yeah. How much did he drop tonight? 33? 34? Somewhere around there.
I think so.
Let's give him 35, though, because I like him a lot this series. So I'm going to say he had 35. KD has been a beast. And, like, on defense as well, he's been bringing it. I think he had, like, 5 blocks tonight. He was battling around the rim on defense.
Yep.
Battling.
And it's crazy that you say that because I thought the Cavs were one of the more defensive teams with length, but Warriors got length too. Like, I slept on their little squad. Like, Zaza Pachulia, I was like, he ain't even that tall to be a center. Like, but then they got McGee, they got Green, they got KD at other positions where they have like length. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so it's
sir.
like everyone on the floor when they get with their matchup, kind of. I don't know. It's like easier to defend with how big they
KD
are
is
for their
7 feet. You
position.
could put him at the 5. You know what I mean? He could
Exactly.
be your center. You could have Draymond at the 4, Iguodala at the 3, Clay at the 2, Curry at the 1. Imagine if you throw Livingston in at the 1.
Bro, exactly. So they all got length, you know. So defensively, that's where I slept on them, but they're killing it, and the way they're playing, this is coming from a guy who's picked the Cavs in 7 games. But the way the Warriors are playing, it looks like they're gonna sweep type shit. Like I'm not saying they are, but it just looks that way by the way
But
they're
you
playing.
saying they are.
I'm not.
Nah. Let me just say
one.
this. A lot of people suffer from recency bias, including us. But I like to put it on record right now that the No Politics podcast learns its lessons. And I remember when we were talking about the Spurs and Grizzlies series, when the Spurs went up 2-0 at home, we wasn't giving the Grizzlies a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, lesson learned. You can't overhype a team going up 2-0 at home in a 7-game series.
I agree.
We gotta wait to see what they do in Game 3, what the Cavs do in Game 3 when they're at home, to really say. You know, by then it might be too late. You know, if the Warriors take Game 3, it's over. But you gotta wait to see if the Cavs come out and punch the Warriors in their mouth in Game 3. Now we got a series. You know what I'm saying?
When is Game 3?
Game 3 is probably next week.
Wednesday, right?
You know how they push it. No,
Tuesday
it's probably
or
Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm gonna say Wednesday, most likely. So
that's gonna be good.
Listen, one of the last things I gotta say about this: KD will forever be seen as a bitch in the eyes of people for doing what he did, leaving OKC and joining a 73-win team that is the Golden State Warriors from last year. Right? He'll always be seen that way. Because it's just
in the eyes of some people.
Yeah, by a lot of people.
I don't necessarily feel that way.
All right. Well, I think a lot of people. Anyway, the people around me, you know, people New York City.
Yeah.
we be going in, but a lot of people will see that exactly. A lot of people saw that move
because the Knicks suck.
Exactly, they got to throw that. They got to throw their wrath on someone. So they was
I don't like that though. See, I'm the type of Knicks fan that don't fuck with people like that.
Okay. You setting yourself apart right now. I see you. But the one thing that I thought coming into this series that KD could do, or that he needed to do to get away from that idea that he was a bitch for what he did, was he needed to be the X factor, and he needed to be the one to make his impact felt and carry the Warriors to this title. And in people's minds, the idea that he's a bitch would lessen. You know, the severity of it would go down if he was the one to grab this title for Golden State. And as of right now, 2 games in,
right now,
anybody watching the finals for Game 1 and Game 2, you cannot talk anything about KD right now.
Yeah.
He has been a different man out there.
And he's hit some difficult shots, too. Even tonight. Some well-defended shots that have just been gone down, swish.
And like I said, he's brought it on the defensive end as well. Now, He's not exactly carrying the Warriors, because when you have a squad like that, you don't really need to carry. But he's been the best guy on the floor for them.
Let's not mention Curry's, 30-foot shot from fucking...
Oh, yeah.
Out of the fucking sidelines where the fucking fans were.
Pulling up.
You know what I'm saying?
Pulling up, coming up the court, pulling it.
Yeah.
That was the possession right after KD just knocked down the 3-2.
And the thing is, this whole addition of KD, I don't even want to think about it from KD's decision point. I want to think about it as this just makes the Warriors look even better.
Yeah.
For how smart they are.
Oh, but, yeah. You can't knock the front office.
It's like, damn, okay, I understand KD went to a 73-win team, but this organization and these players knew that they needed something extra.
Oh, yeah, because
they
lost.
Were going to actually overcome this and maybe potentially be a dynasty. You never know. Like the way they're playing right now, if they just tied the record for the longest undefeated streak in the playoffs.
I believe 14 games in a row. 14
Or
and
they
0.
beat it. I think they beat it. That was the Lakers that year. That went up against AI that had the previous record, but they just beat that record. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's history, you know. So KD, yeah, he made a decision that some people say, "Oh, he's a bitch," but then it's like, yo, he did not only make the right business decision and life decision, since he does want to achieve success and have that feeling and that moment of being a champion. You know, who doesn't get into the NBA wanting that moment? You know what I mean? But the organization proved how smart they really are, because as good as they were, they knew they still needed to improve.
Oh yeah,
And
I don't think anyone's.
KD.
I don't think anyone's knocking the front office of
So
the
this
Warriors.
is more of a.
Oh yeah,
you know,
round of applause to the front office.
Round of applause to the organization of
last
Golden
year.
State
Yeah,
Warriors.
they killed it with that signing. You know, I don't think anyone's knocking the front office, but the criticism fell all on KD's shoulders there. And right now, he's shutting everybody up by showing, look, call me a bitch if you want, but I'm a ball like I'm the best in this league right now. And I'm not saying he's better than LeBron.
I thought he was gonna choke.
See what I'm saying? And
you know
I'm sure you're not the only one.
I felt when he did make it to the finals last time against the Heat, not only did he choke, but so did James Harden. And James Harden choked this year again against the Spurs. But, you know, that's a whole nother discussion for another
Yeah, James
day.
Harden always chokes in elimination games.
Yeah. But because of that, I thought KD would choke as well. He's proven me wrong. I also said I didn't want to see him win his first year with them as soon as he did jump ship. Just because, like,
yeah, you don't want to reward a player for joining a 73 win
behind
team.
It.
Yeah.
Except that, yeah, that was a logical explanation. But they're looking good.
It's hard for me to be mad at KD if he's the one to bring this title to Golden State. You know what I mean? If you're the one that puts in the most work and gets it done, then like I can't be mad at you. Yeah, you joined a 73 win team, but you're really the guy that brought them that title. They did need you. You were the X factor. To me, hats off to KD. He's been killing it. Been a different man out there.
Yep.
And
hats off.
It's been a good 2
everyone.
Games.
Hats off to everyone.
Hats off to everyone. We love everyone. It's been a good 2 games. Warriors are up 2-0. Who do you got for game 3?
I gotta go Cleveland at home, but like I said, the way that the Warriors are playing, it's like if they know in their mind that they're gonna sweep these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like nothing's gonna stop them.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Cleveland as well. I think, like we just talked about, gotta wait to see what a team does at home. I'm gonna give Cleveland the benefit of the doubt. Now it'll be interesting to see if Cleveland wins. Do they smack them? Or is it close? Because if it's close and Cleveland just gets by at home, to me, they got no shot in this series, even if they win.
I'm going to go with the
Game
latter.
4, I'm going to go Golden State. You know what I'm saying? If Cleveland wins close in Game 3, Game 4 is Golden State.
I think Cleveland wins close.
You think Cleveland wins close? I kind of feel the same. I think Cleveland ekes one out. And then I think Golden State is just going to be like, all right, well, we're not going to let that happen again. And they're going to win Game 4. It's been 2 blowouts through 2 games, but I got to say, this has been the most competitive blowouts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I said that to you before the podcast. Because even when Golden State is up double digits, Cleveland is still bringing it. And it feels, the air is so tense and that it just feels like it's a 1-possession game out there.
To me,
every possession.
I kind of get frustrated with the Cavs, knowing that Darren Williams is their backup. Like, they need someone else as a backup, not just Darren Williams. You know, like, that's kind of a shame that they don't have another formidable backup for Kyrie.
What do you mean? Darren Williams was a starter, not too long ago. He's a starting point guard in the league.
He's still not that guy that's going to win in a moment like this.
Well, I mean, to me,
I don't see him making the right decisions out there. That's all I'm saying when he is out there.
I've heard the argument that just overall the Cavs need more from their role players.
Yeah.
Which I agree with.
Which I agree as well. You know, I'm not singling out Darren Williams, but I feel like that's the biggest thing that stands out to me.
Okay.
Like, I don't see him as a formidable backup. Like, I understand he was a starter, but he can start sometimes, but you got to have someone else in there that can handle the ball as well.
Okay.
You know?
That's why they play LeBron for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, LeBron likes to play 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, but that's it for NBA Finals talk.
Yeah.
That's all we got right there. But we're going to keep it moving.
I can't wait for Game 3.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for it. But
I'll be in Miami.
Oh, I thought you was making a joke. But you will be in Miami next week. Yes.
I'll be in Miami watching Game 3. Sipping on some bubbly.
I'll be in my living room. Don't talk to me. But all right, I think
it's time.
It's just about
time that we talk about Extreme Rules, the WWE pay-per-view,
Raw exclusive
pay-per-view. We made our predictions last week. We started with Kalisto and mixed tag match, but Goldust and R-Truth were not on the card. This is not the most important news to come out of this, so yeah.
I was going to say that was my favorite match. That was going in. That was my favorite match.
I know. I was like really looking forward to that match,
I was like, man, this has been built for a long time.
Right?
It's been a long time coming.
I know.
It's showtime. That's how I was feeling coming in. I was, most people don't start watching the pay-per-view till 8, but I was tuned into the pre-show because I was like, I don't know when this R-Truth Goldust match is coming on.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, the pre-show came and went with no Goldust or R-Truth.
Yeah. They must have beat each other up in the back somewhere. And it just never aired.
Or maybe they hashed things out.
Who knows? Maybe.
Who knows?
I could see them forgetting that they had a match and never making it to the arena. I could see that too.
Probably.
More news in the coming days, though. We're going to keep it moving.
They're going to be the next victims on the Fashion Files.
Ooh.
But, anyway, just talk about the main card. We started off with Dean Ambrose and Miz, which I thought was a good match. Great match. And they got a lot of time. At one point, I was like, damn, they got mad time. I think I texted you that. I was just surprised at how much freaking time they got.
Yeah, you texted me, and I quote, damn, they giving them mad time. So yes.
So I ain't lying. All
you
facts
ain't lying.
Here. We don't lie on the No Politics podcast.
Politicians, they lie to you all the time. Us, exactly. No politics out here. So it's straight facts all the time.
All the time, straight facts.
So
to Kurt Hawkins.
Exactly. Oh, fuck up. I mean, Kurt Hawkins, if you trying to come through to the No Politics podcast.
Or even Tyson Kidd.
Ooh.
For real. Facts.
Ooh.
But what did you think about the Ambrose and Miz match?
I thought it was great. I loved it. There were a lot of antics. I put this in our Instagram caption for the post on that match. I said, a lot of antics, and you even mentioned it last week that you're interested to see what they do with this match, because one of the first things we mentioned was it's kind of a weird stipulation because technically Maurice could literally start the match and just smack The Miz and get Ambrose disqualified. And
that was your point, and I was like, damn, that what makes the stipulation more interesting. Let's see what they do,
Exactly. And what happens? Exactly that.
Miz literally took time to look at his wife and say, smack me right now, smack me right now, because he knew it would be to his advantage.
And she smacked the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I love that. That was, she didn't hold back. But the ref was onto it, and he was like, I know what you're doing, and he throws her from ringside.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier in the match, I thought Miz was gonna pull a Eddie Guerrero with the chair.
Yeah,
I thought he was like messing with that idea. He was flirting with that idea.
I had the same thoughts, and it actually brought me back to our previous conversation in one of our episodes where we talked about how Eddie was great for doing that, and how there's no one that actually does that now in wrestling, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it was great.
Yeah, and I think it's just a testament to how dope Miz has been as an entertainer. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And thinking of ways to make, like, this match. There were a lot of antics because I'm sure Miz knew. First of all, Miz needs these antics. That's how Miz wins. He's a strategist. He's got to be strategic. And so when I sat there and watched everything he tried to pull in this match, all the bullshit, including the part where he flings Ambrose into the ref, and the ref was about to disqualify Ambrose right off of that.
Yeah.
And then when Ambrose is pleading with the ref, who's close to making the call to DQ him, Miz hits the skull crushing finale.
Yep.
I thought it was very well done. Like you said, like, we didn't know what could happen in this kind of match with this somewhat odd stipulation, unusual stipulation.
Yep.
And Miz took full advantage of it.
And now he's the 7-time Intercontinental Champ.
Oh yeah, baby. The 7th
Lucky number
time
7, that's my number.
Intercontinental Championship World Tour has begun.
Yep.
So I thought it was a dope match. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. But with all that said, I still don't think it was the match of the night.
Ooh, talk to me.
Neville versus Austin Aries, baby.
Talk to me.
We both felt that it was Austin Aries' time.
Yeah.
And he would walk out with the belt, especially in a submission match. But tonight, the King proved the point. He showed why he will be the greatest cruiserweight champion of all time. Go down in the history books of WWE. Mm-hmm. Neville, I have to compliment Neville. Mm-hmm. Because he has turned a corner with his career. And this is the best he's ever been. As a bad guy. I love this match. These guys both put on, stole the show, had a hell of a fucking match. Like, need I say any more? Like, oh my God, the finish, beautiful. All the close calls, all the submissions they were thrown in, all the times they freaking broke up the submission and like thinking, oh, it's gonna be hard this one, it's gonna be hard this one. But they just kept going at it. It was amazing. I gotta say that was the match of the night.
Yeah, it was cool. Nah, I thought it was great, man. I mean, I really thought that this would be Aries' moment, and every time he got the last chancery.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is it. At some point.
Yeah.
And over, Neville found a way. And even, I loved the moment, remember the moment when he has it locked in, and Neville rolls out the ring, and he keeps it in, and Neville taps outside the ring?
Yes.
And I said to you right then and there, that makes me feel like Neville's going to retain.
Gonna win.
And sure enough, Neville finds a way again.
Another way. That just gives even more to what I was saying about how great he has been. Every time I count him out, he proves me wrong, and I fuck with it.
Yeah, I think this feud gave us 3 great pay-per-view matches. Yeah. No, a lot of times feuds go this long, and it's burned out. But I think these guys did a really good job with this feud. Do you think it's over?
Man, it's over, but to an extent. Like, it's kind of going to be probably like Sasha with the women's belt.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, somehow he'll be there trying to get his shot.
So Aries is going to be the guy to take it off of him, though.
Aries? I don't know now. I really don't.
I think he's got to be the one. I think he's still the one. Who else? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I think Neville's going to reign until, like, Rumble. Like, he's going to reign for a while.
It's going to be a long reign.
Yeah, because now there's just nobody else that I can see taking it off if it wasn't Aries. But maybe there is a chance that this feud continues again, because this was a submission match. So who knows if at some point they're going to take it to another level. There was that moment at the end of the match where Aries is just sitting outside the ring kind of smiling.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like Aries ain't done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at the end.
So, who knows if this is even over. But as of right now, it's been a few months of these two guys feuding. And I still think they did a great job. I'm not burned out from this feud. So,
I'm
I
not
loved
either.
what they did tonight.
It could move on, so it could continue to go. So we'll see. I actually think that this pay-per-view gave, like, freaking 5 great matches. Like, I don't know, like, I really love the women's match, the way they put that
I
together.
really loved it as well.
You know what I'm saying? I like the Fatal 5-Way, and especially they did last week with the Fatal 5-Way. I announced an order by why I felt the person wasn't gonna win, by who I felt was gonna be the least likely to win, and I started with Samoa Joe.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? And WWE went and did something that I didn't think they were gonna do. So this pay-per-view exceeded my expectations.
I
The whole
agree.
Alexa Bliss Bailey match, I did not see it going that way as well. Like, I knew Alexa was gonna win, but not the way she won. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
this pay-per-view was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I thought, to talk about the Fatal 5-Way a little bit, Samoa Joe was number 1 on your list as least likely. He was number 2 on my list as least likely. So I didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah.
And the fact that WWE did this, see, to me, we kept saying Lesnar's going to win at Great Balls of Fire. So whoever he goes up against, you want it to be someone who can take the L.
Yeah.
So I really didn't expect them to put Joe in this position, but I've always wanted Joe to be the one, to take the title off Lesnar, to take down the Beast. But guess not. But do you want to get into that match now that we're on it?
We might as well, because at this point, it's obvious he won.
Yes.
And it was a good fucking main event. Fucking Rollins and Reigns had their moments with each other. Rollins and Joe had their moments. Joe and Bray had their moments where they teamed up for most of the match and beat up the other guys.
Yep.
Especially fucking Seth Rollins. They beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fucking the match started off with Rollins going at Joe and Wyatt going at Balor, and Roman just standing in the ring like, okay, I'm gonna let you guys fight.
Yeah.
The crowd hated that even, like, that put so much fuel. I love the way they trolled the crowd with that. Yeah. And the fans.
That was well done.
I really loved this whole pay-per-view, but this match was dope, man, for real. It was a good match. Finn Balor, for a moment, looked like he was going to win. I was hype. I was like, yeah. And then, look, the finish was crazy.
Oh, yeah. So, to recap, we tied on predictions.
Yeah.
And most of our predictions were the same. R-Truth and Goldust we picked differently on. They never made it to the arena, as we mentioned earlier. But the other match we picked differently on was this one. I picked Reigns, you picked Balor. And to speak on just how good or this Extreme Rules pay-per-view exceeding expectations, when we began to go through the card on last episode, I remember saying the 2 pre-show matches, which ended up being 1 pre-show match, and then the Rich Swann, Sasha, Noam Dar, Alicia Fox match, I remember saying 3 out of 8, almost half of this card is already like nothing.
Yeah.
But like you said, you felt they gave us 5 solid matches. And so, aside from those 3, every single other match was dope. And this Fatal 5-Way, of course, same thing. Just, everyone had their moments. I love the part where Wyatt picks up the chair, and it's like a moment of, is Wyatt going to hit Joe?
Yeah.
And then he doesn't. He sets him up. He sets the chair up on Balor and lets Joe do a senton.
Yeah.
But then a little later, shortly after, there's a moment where Wyatt pushes Joe, like Wyatt and Joe are standing outside the ring, and I believe Rollins does a dive to the outside of the ring, and Wyatt pushes Joe into Rollins to take the hit.
Yeah.
And then when Joe finally comes back in the ring and confronts Wyatt, he screams at him. He goes, "What was that?" And Wyatt, the first thing Wyatt does is he puts his hand up to like stop him, to like tell him like to kind of like don't do anything. And he says, "Friend," and he calls him friend. And I just love like the audacity of Bray to
We're
call
friends, man.
Joe his friend in that moment. It was like friend. It was great, and I just loved all the little bits. I loved, like you mentioned, the start of the match where Reigns is by himself, and that's one of the reasons I thought Reigns would win, because Bray and Balor attack each other, Rollins and Joe attack each other, and they leave Reigns alone
Yeah.
because everyone in that match except Reigns pretty much had a feud with each other. So that was one of the reasons I was like, they're gonna get too caught up with each other. And then towards the end, it looked like Reigns was gonna win, and then like you said, it looked like Balor was gonna win. And then WWE, ripped the rug from underneath us, and Joe locked in that coquina clutch, and Balor went to sleep.
And this was one of the good times where they surprised us in a good way.
Exactly. I'm not mad at this.
Yep.
I mean, any of these five, this is why this match was so highly anticipated, because any of these five would have made for a good opponent for Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
And nobody really knew who it was going to be. So this is a situation where they surprised us, but you really couldn't go wrong. So I'm glad they did this. I'm glad they did something different.
And to put into perspective, Samoa Joe now is the #1 contender for the Universal title.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, wow, I'm excited.
You know what's kind of interesting about this? Is that now that you say Joe is the #1 contender, everyone else in this match kind of had a claim for the top title.
Yep.
Balor never lost his title. Reigns and Lesnar, that's been a long-awaited rematch because Rollins stole the title.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins had to get his title vacated when he got hurt.
Yep.
And then Bray never actually got his title rematch for Orton.
Yeah.
So technically, he has a main title like match somewhere. He's another one who actually deserves a shot at the main title because he never got his rematch because of the Superstar Shakeup, and then WWE's weird decision to make that House of Horrors match a non-title match. He never ended up getting a rematch. That rematch clause just disappeared for Bray. So everyone in this match kind of had a claim to the main title. To a main title shot, except for Samoa Joe. And now, by him winning this, of those five, he is now the fifth to also have a claim to the title. So it's kind of putting him in that upper echelon of contenders for the top title.
Yep. What do you think was the match of the night?
Well, we're not even done.
But I'm saying, because I already said what I thought was my match of the night. So you thought it was something outside of those two matches?
Outside of the three matches, you mean?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Miz Ambrose, but I think it was just too many antics for it to be considered the top match.
Yeah.
And then the main event was solid.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but I loved the women's title match for what it was. It wasn't the longest match. It didn't get a ton of time, but I liked. Something about that match stuck out to me as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really tough for me.
I wouldn't be mad if you called the women's match.
Yeah, I actually wanted to save that match to talk about it last. Like, I don't know what match we were going to go to next, but in my mind, I was like, nah, I'm saving the women's match for last. So maybe I really want to say the women's match.
All right, so
let's get into this tag titles match.
Oh, my God. Amazing. But my initial match of the night was the Hardy Boys defending their titles against the former champs, Cesaro and Sheamus.
He means after R-Truth and Goldust. That was his most
Yeah. Oh
anticipated.
yeah.
Continue.
Exactly. But it's not to say that it didn't live up to the expectations, but it just wasn't the match of the night. But it was definitely good. It told a dope story. It wasn't as crazy as I was afraid it might get. Like Matt Hardy didn't jump off the top of the cage, so that's good because he's getting up there in age.
You
But
can't get any more broken than he already is. So you don't. So come on, you don't
right?
need to be jumping off of no cages.
Exactly, because then he'll really be broken.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was a good match. Like it was a physical match. I liked the part where the Hardys had Sheamus on one side of the cage and Cesaro on the other. They were banging their heads into this cage.
Yeah.
Into the gate. That shit was amazing. I loved that part. Jeff actually ended up escaping, and then it was a 2-on-1 with Matt.
Yeah.
And they were trying to break him. Matt did have a big bump when
that
Sheamus
razor's
did the
edge
white
kind of
noise.
thing. Oh, the white noise too. Yeah.
He did the white noise from the top turnbuckle, and with Cesaro helping him bring him down.
Yeah.
That was good, man. I liked that match. Jeff ended up having to come back in the match.
Yeah.
And he hits the
Whisper in the wind.
Whisper in the wind. Yep. And from the top of the cage, and that was dope. And from there, it was all about who was gonna escape first.
Yeah. Sheamus or Cesaro climbing over the top of the cage and out, or Matt dragging Jeff through the door.
Yeah, because he was laid out.
And Sheamus and Cesaro made it to the floor first.
Up and over. It was close. Matt had got out. He just had to pull Jeff. So it was close.
Yeah, it was close. Here's my take on it. Like you said, it wasn't that it didn't live up to expectations. It wasn't that it wasn't good. It was just, all right, I have a problem with steel cage doors. Now, we've talked about this. If you've been rocking with us for a while, we had an old episode. It might be like episode 8 or something like that. Maybe episode somewhere around there. Titled Steel Cage Doors Are a Fool's Game, man.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to suspend disbelief. Like when we watch wrestling, we already have to suspend disbelief enough.
Yeah.
And it's so much harder to suspend that disbelief when we're watching someone race to climb over the top of a cage and someone to walk through a door. Like there's so many times where it's like, walk out the door, stupid.
Especially you know what I'm saying? When Matt had I think Sheamus or Cesaro, he hit him with the twist of fate.
He had them both down, and he decides to climb the cage.
And then he had one of them down, and one was gonna climb over the gate. And he could have just ran
out the door because they both had to
stop them.
Exactly, when they both would have had to climb out the cage. It made no sense. And that's where this match loses me. You know what I'm saying? That's where all steel cage matches lose me. Because having the door as an option is a fool's game, man. You can't win.
You're right. You
can't win.
But we were also right with saying it would make sense for Sheamus and Cesaro to win because where do they go from here with Hardys?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I
and
almost
we
forgot.
couldn't find an option.
Exactly.
I had mentioned, not Endzone Cast, the club, but you were like, I haven't seen them in tag action.
Yeah, they haven't built up enough steam. They have no momentum. There's nobody behind Sheamus and Cesaro and the Hardys with momentum right now.
Yeah.
No one. So the only thing I could think of is keeping this feud going and putting it back on Sheamus and Cesaro, because if you keep it with the Hardys and they beat Sheamus and Cesaro, there's nobody left.
Yeah.
The Hardys are sitting alone at the top. And then another thing we mentioned was, what is it going to take for the Hardys to enter the Broken Universe?
Yep.
And what did you say?
Losing the titles.
Losing the titles. So maybe this is the beginning of something.
I think so.
There's nowhere else to go, is how I feel.
Yeah, there's nowhere else to go. I mean, it's gonna be interesting because I know there's still a battle, but who knows? At any moment, any time, they could get Broken Universe used in the WWE. But I also had heard the WWE doesn't have any interest in the universe, so I don't know. We can only see what's gonna happen tomorrow on Monday Night Raw and the weeks coming up because it's gonna be somewhat of a long build to Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Now on to my main event. The
Yep.
main event that hits my TV screen every Monday night and on special Raw exclusive Sundays.
Okay.
The goddess herself,
Okay.
Alexa Bliss.
You know, I have a problem with you speaking of the
All right.
lovely
You know
young
what?
lady Alexa Bliss that way.
We
You know, this is getting ridiculous. I was gonna say I love Alexa Bliss, but I already know how you're gonna react to that.
You know what? I don't like the fact that you decided you'd be the first one to start talking about this segment. I introed it, and then I don't like how you just jumped in and was like, I'm going to say something about her first. But to me,
this match, man,
this was a great match, and it wasn't a long one, like we said earlier. And Alexa was dominant.
Hell yeah.
And I think to sum up my thoughts, I put it in the Instagram caption of this post. You don't bring that weak shit into a weapons match with the goddess Alexa Bliss.
Yep. Get that weak shit out of here.
Get that weak shit out of here. Just Bailey was not ready.
Yeah.
Once Alexa got that kendo stick, and I thought they were gonna really build to the kendo stick, but I like how they made it kind of simple.
Yeah, they had like a battle.
Yeah.
And then boom, they both like ripped it down and it dropped in the middle of the like canvas.
Yeah. And then they both kind of dove in for it, and then Bailey kind of played interference.
Yeah.
But once Alexa got her hands on that, there was nothing Bailey could do.
Yep.
And it was Bailey that hit
Alexa with the first shot.
But
like we called after the first shot, she couldn't follow up. She never
hesitated.
got to follow up.
And then I love that once Alexa got her hands on that kendo stick,
that's it. It was a wrap.
Zero fucking hesitation. None. She didn't stop to think about it. She didn't even like do the fake anticipation for the crowd. Like there was zero hesitation.
Yeah. She was laying it into her.
Yeah, and when she swings that kendo stick, and I've mentioned it on past Raws, she hits them high sometimes.
Yeah.
Where it's almost close to the neck. And she just makes it look so brutal. And this match was just dominant. And shout out to the goddess Alexa Bliss.
She's a beautiful, lovely young lady.
Whoa. Settle that down. This ain't the time or the place for that.
But Carmella.
Alright, good.
Okay.
Stay in your lane.
Nah, every time I try to stay in my lane, you be acting all funny like, okay, calm down. You're like, you don't want to hear it. But when it comes to Alexa, now we got a problem.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the No Politics podcast listeners would agree that Alexa is worth the praise, whereas Carmella, maybe she ain't all there yet. But Alexa is the first ever SmackDown Women's title holder and Raw Women's title holder.
You go after title holders.
You know, shout out to my queen over there on SmackDown on the Blue brand, Charlotte out there doing her thing, coming for that title as well in the coming weeks.
Yep.
So I go for royalty.
That's what's up. So damn, that's the card, right? Yep. That's Extreme Rules.
That's it.
We didn't miss a match besides the pre-show match, which Kalisto got the W.
And the Rich Swann joint, where in case you didn't know, Rich Swann and Sasha won, and that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I actually missed that match because I was doing something.
Let's not get into it. Let's just keep it with the Alexa Bliss and finish on a high note.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's dope, man. I look forward to what's coming in the upcoming weeks. I mentioned earlier I'm gonna be in Miami this week, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch all of wrestling, but I'm gonna try to do my best,
Yeah,
as always.
of course. And before we sign off, Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar at your favorite Raw exclusive pay per view. What's it called?
Great balls of motherfucking fuego.
Great Balls of Fire. Who do you got, Joe or Lesnar?
Oh, you
Let's
gonna
talk
make me
about
pick
it.
now already? Come
Let's talk
on.
about it.
You want me to look like a hype beast?
Let's talk about it.
Nah, I got Brock.
All right, me too. I just tried to be controversial. I just wanted to start something.
I got Samoa Joe. What are you talking about? What's wrong? What you trying to start? Like, let's get it.
Nah, to me, like I said, they're not gonna have Brock lose his first title defense. It's almost as simple as that, and it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
Matter of fact, before we close it off, let's talk about the fact that we both thought Braun Strowman might show up, but they're actually milking the whole 6 months thing, and he ain't show up tonight.
Well, I didn't think he was necessarily going to show up tonight. I mentioned it to you during the match. I said, what if Strowman shows up during this match? Because it is no DQ. My prediction was that Roman would win the match, and then at Great Balls of Fire in another month, Braun Strowman would interfere. That was my prediction. So I didn't think he was necessarily ready to return this match. But then I started thinking, like, when Reigns was just kind of walking around by himself, I was like... And then when they started getting the chair, I was like, yeah, this is no DQ, so who knows if Strowman even shows up here and costs Reigns. Right. But
you're right. So actually you corrected me because we both actually said that he would ruin it for whoever. I said he would ruin it for whoever wins.
Exactly.
At Great Balls of Fire.
So do you still feel that way?
I still feel that it's possible.
That he'll ruin it for Joe?
But then Joe's going to have to get one back on him. But I think Strowman SummerSlam is a possibility. That's what I've read. That would only give them Great Balls of Fire and straight into SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's interesting.
I have no clue.
Are we sure?
Unless Joe and Brock have such a great match that they make it like a fucking triple threat, fucking Joe versus Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. That'll be some crazy shit.
Yeah. Are we sure that Great Balls of Fire is the last Raw pay-per-view before SummerSlam?
I think so. It's great.
Because Great Balls of Fire is got to be like in 4 weeks, right? So like July. So like early July. But then there's got to be another Raw one late July or early August because SummerSlam is late August. So unless Raw is going to go about 7 to 8 weeks without a pay-per-view, which I don't think so, there's got to be something.
You know what I'm saying? Great Balls of Fire, Money in the Bank, and then... Or is it Money in the Bank, Great Balls of Fire, SummerSlam?
It's Money in the Bank, Great Balls of Fire, but then to me there's something next. There has to be something next. I don't know.
Well, it would be a SmackDown then.
No, wait, yeah, it would be a SmackDown, you're right. But it's every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now, Money in the Bank. Another 2 weeks from now, which is end of June, early July, Great Balls of Fire. 2 weeks from then is mid-July. That's another SmackDown. And then 2 weeks from then, it's early August. Raw. Raw would have something. Unless they're not going to have anything and they're going to go to straight.
6-week build to SummerSlam.
Yeah, we'll have to check back with that. We're not sure as of right now. But, yeah, who knows? Maybe Strowman does cost Joe. And that would make Joe not take the L. You know what I'm saying? So because my thing with Joe was, why put him in the ring with Lesnar and kill his momentum by having him take a L? So maybe Strowman kind of saves that from happening by interfering. So who knows?
Let's not also forget Samoa Joe had a great promo on Raw Talk.
Yes.
About how Brock Lesnar could train and bring partners in to try to get him ready to go up against him, but none of them are going to equal how dangerous he is.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Joe always killing it on the mic.
Yep.
So let's I think it's about time that we sign off.
Yeah. Sign us off, brother.
So we had a great night of Extreme Rules, Game 2 of the NBA Finals, and it is, to remind you, Sunday night, June 4th, 2017. It is now early Monday morning. It is about 12:35 at this point, a.m. And this is the 27th episode of the No Politics Podcast. We've been rocking with y'all. Y'all been rocking with us for about 6 months almost going on.
Word.
And we've been doing it through SoundCloud, and it's been dope. It's been an amazing experience. It sounds like we're about to retire. So if that's what you're thinking, you wrong. It's been 6 months, and it's been dope on SoundCloud. But we want to do it big. We're improving every step of the way. This is the first time we've done a podcast. Like, y'all have grown with us. Y'all have seen our growth and maturity over these 6 months, on this podcast. You know, this is a learning experience. And this deep into the game, we want to take it to the next level. We've been talking about it for a while. We want to premiere on the iTunes app.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very likely our last episode before we resurface on iTunes. And we hope you'll continue to support us over there. We'll still be posting to SoundCloud, so don't even worry about that. You can still catch us on SoundCloud. We'll be now posting on iTunes, God willing, if we can get this done in the next couple of weeks. So we just want to thank you. 27 episodes. It's been an amazing experience for me. I've had a lot of fun every week getting the chance to talk wrestling and sports and whatever the fuck we want. It's been great, and
fuck yeah.
I just want to thank everybody for rocking with us. We hope you continue to rock with us. And you can catch the No Politics Podcast over on iTunes.
SoundCloud.
You could also catch us. Yeah, you can always catch us on SoundCloud, YouTube.
Oh, I thought we was going to do like a back and forth thing.
I wasn't I wasn't ending it right there. But 27 episodes. We thank you for the support. Talk to them. Tell them how you feel, Fakin.
We're going to take it to the next level. To summarize what my partner's saying, someone asked us how much do they got to invest in this, and we thought to ourselves, we literally created this our own way, got on our computer, found a way to get our vocals and put them together and make a podcast. But now it's time to invest and take things to the next level. We want to bring you guys new content. We're thinking of a lot of new ideas to reach our fan base and expand our fan base. So if you've been rocking with us this long, we fuck with you. We appreciate you guys. You're the No Politics Podcast family, and keep rocking with us. We're gonna bring a lot new exciting things to the social media. So be on the lookout for that.
Yes, sir. We built this from the ground up for a while. We thought, similar to others who've asked us in the past, we thought for a while that we wanted to do a podcast, but we didn't know how to get started. And that held us back for a long time until we decided, you know what? Let's just go after this. Let's figure out a way. And it was a really simple thing. We decided to hop on, whether it was Skype or FaceTime or the phone. Really simple means of communication, and have a conversation, and then use our laptops to record our conversation. We don't got no fancy equipment. We're not in a studio, unfortunately, at this point. But we found a way to get it done. Don't let all these circumstances keep you from chasing your goal and from attacking your dreams. You might be overthinking the approach you take. A lot of times it's real simple.
Yep.
So just go for it. Ignore the external circumstances. Ignore all the extra stuff. And just go after what you love. So with that being said, we want to thank you. Y'all are the No Politics Podcast family. We hope you continue to rock with us. I am at Working Genius. You can catch me on Instagram. WORKINGENIUS. Catch us at No Politics Podcast on Instagram, on SoundCloud, on YouTube. Very, 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 very soon on iTunes.
Yeah. And I'm Faking No Moves at FAKINNOMOVES. Holla at your boys.
As always, thank you. Love, peace, all that.
Peace.